Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. We are going to jump right into the process here. I am trying to decide what kit I want to use. So I found all 8 of these kits unused right on the shelf under my desk. And I got in the mood to scrapbook on this particular day. I worked a half a day at work. I'm doing some part-time work outside of my house right now. And so I worked a half a day and I came home, and with all of the things that are going on, I just wanted to do something different. So I decided to come up to my craft studio and do some scrapbooking. So I'm pulling out this Elle Studio kit, and this is actually from July 2017, and I found a whole set of photos, and it's actually enough to make like 5 or 6 layouts. So you're probably going to see these photos a few times in the next couple videos. But these photos are actually from a camping trip that we took back in 2018. It was starting to become a tradition, and then after 2 or 3 years we weren't able to do it anymore just because of the scheduling around Easter, and my son is out of school at different times than my sister's kids are out of school. So we kind of had to rearrange, and we don't necessarily do this particular camping trip anymore, but for a couple years there we were doing it, and this is one of my favorite places. We love this place. This is actually at Catherine Abbey Hanna Park in Jacksonville, Florida. It is a perfect place to take kids camping. It's just really a lot of fun. So you're going to see a couple photos in the next couple of layouts from this particular camping trip. But I'm actually going to start, I was trying to figure out which set of photos I wanted to use. And so you saw a couple other photos laid out there. Those are going to come up in an upcoming video for you because I have already scrapbooked them. I actually ended up doing 3 layouts on this particular evening. I just got in a groove, and I just kept going with it. And I was enjoying using these Elle Studio kits. I haven't subscribed to the Elle Studio kits in a while, but I'm starting to think maybe I'll start subscribing to a couple kits again. I was subscribed to a bunch of kits at one point. I even did a kit review series where I used different kits each month and reviewed them for you and shared all the details of it with you. And then since then, a bunch of different kits are existing now, and a lot of the ones that I reviewed are no longer available. So thought it might be interesting to maybe, this is just an idea I'm throwing around, maybe starting to subscribe to a kit or two again, but we will see. So I've settled on these photos as the ones that I want to scrapbook first, and I'm flipping through the cards. Now, these layouts are extremely photo heavy. This one and the next 2 are very, very photo heavy. So I actually end up not using a ton of the cards from the Elle Studio kit, which is unfortunate because they're all really cute cards. But I do find lots of ways to make these kits work for these layouts, and I love how bright and colorful these Elle Studio kits are. Because they are so photo heavy, I didn't want to necessarily have one card related to the journaling because I felt like the 1 or 2 decorative cards I have, I didn't want them to be filled up with a bunch of words. So I went to my computer, did some journaling, and I've got it in these little, whenever I print them on my computer, I do it in like a text box, and I always add a border around the text box. 1, to help me trim out an exact square instead of having to use my trimmer to do it, but then 2, also sometimes I like to include that border around the text box in the layout itself, which is what you see me doing here. Now I am going to trim that 1 down, the one that's on that right now card. So it says 2018 Family Easter Camping Trip. And I'll end up trimming that down and putting it on a banner to fit under that right now text that's on that gray card. I have these calendar cards. These are Elle Studio products. I buy these each year to include in my scrapbook album, and it's a set of 12. You get 1 for each month, and then if you decide not to use the calendar card, on the back side of those cards, they are also patterned. Now, the cards in the Elle Studio monthly kit are not patterned on the back side, but I still find that I have plenty to work with, and I never really have much of a problem. I want to do something to designate the date on that April card, and I thought about pulling out these little star stickers, and then I looked at these star sequins, and they're all too big for what I want to use. So I end up remembering that I have some smaller sequins in my sequin storage. I just had to go grab it. And then I end up using these small light pink sequins, which actually work really well with the colors that are on this page, and they don't overpower that calendar at the top. They're not even a 1/4 inch across. I don't exactly know how how big they are, but they're not even a 1/4 inch. You can see I'm just playing around with these blue ones, and they're huge. Like I cannot even get them on the calendar to cover up the dates. Now, we were at this campground from March 30th to April 7th, and that spanned over Easter that year. And so that was kind of the whole point that we went, was to go for Easter, and we did an Easter egg hunt and just really enjoyed the time there. Now, since it is in like March, April, the weather is kind of hit or miss. We've been years where it was hot and sunny the entire time and we get so sunburned. And then we've been where it's been like rainy and cool the whole time. It just kind of depends. But this campground has a lot of different things there that you can really use to enjoy. And regardless of what the weather's like, you can find things to do. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the photos that you see here and read you some of the journaling as you watch me glue down these sequins because it's so riveting. But let me tell you what I've written as my journaling. So on the top right photo, the black and white photo, I made it black and white because it's at a restaurant and there are so many colors in the background going on there that making it black and white really kind of tones down all those extra things. But it just says the boys are killing time coloring in the AC while waiting at the fish camp for our food. When at the beach, you must eat fried fish at least once. And that's just a rule. You have to. It's a rule. Then I already read you that label on the calendar card, the one that says not the calendar card, on the card that says right now, the gray card, it says 2018 Family Easter Camping Trip. The journaling on the right card, where it looks like Kalen's looking through a gate. He's actually on a jungle gym and he was looking through the little, platform at me, and it just says this campground had awesome playgrounds, lots of areas for the kids to run and climb and enjoy the outdoors. They even have like I can't think of what it's called, like where you hold onto the rope and you slide down. I can't think of what that's called right now, but there's lots of things. What? It's called the Twister. Okay, Kalen's right here with me, and he says it's called the Twister. I'm not entirely sure, but he says it's called the Twister, and he's the one who wrote it, so we're going to go with that. Then on the bottom left card, I have some journaling of my mom. She's like hiding Easter eggs, and it just says, since we didn't have a yard or big enough area inside to do an Easter egg hunt, we took over the playground and did a group egg hunt. And this particular campground had different playgrounds throughout the entire campground, and this just happened to be one that our kids were playing on a lot. So as you can see, if you look closely enough in the photo, you can see all the eggs that are hidden on that playground. And then the bottom right photo is a picture of all the kids. So it's me, my mom, my older sister, like our families, my mom's best friend, and 2 of her kids and their kids. And we all grew up together. So we all know each other. We used to like spend nights at each other's house and all kinds of things like that. So it was a big group of kids, and it was really a lot of fun. But that's a picture of all the kids on that bottom right. So I've got my card here pretty much done, my April calendar card at the top, and I'm just trimming down that one photo of Kalen climbing up that little spiral thing. I think that's what he was talking about, is actually called the Twister. But you climb up the little spiral thing and get to the platform, and you look around. And then I have this picture of Ernest. I don't remember what was actually in that cup. Probably water, but as I was scrapbooking this, I kind of chuckled to myself, because he's like, oh yeah, like just chilling, watching the kids at the Easter egg hunt. Ernest likes to camp. You wouldn't necessarily think so. Ernest is not like, he's not always for the outdoor, big family fun, huge gathering kind of things. And I totally am. So he's usually a really good sport and goes along with me. Surprisingly, though, he really does enjoy camping. I don't think he had been camping until we started dating. And that was kind of the first time he had spent a lot of time with my parents, is when we went camping with them. We went camping at a beach here. Actually, I think we went to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. We live in North Carolina, but I believe we went camping in South Carolina at the beach the first time that he went camping, and it was quite an experience. I grew up camping. Like, we've been camping since I was like little. So to me, it's nothing. It's just normal. But for other people who don't camp all the time, sometimes it's a bit of an adjustment. So I always kind of chuckle every time I see a picture of Ernest camping, because he's not like the roughing it type. Like, he just does it. It's not his thing. So I always kind of chuckle because he sometimes looks out of place. But anyways, that gives you all the rundown of all the journaling that's on this particular layout. I'm trying to find something to put on this bottom right photo with all the kids holding their buckets ready to do the Easter egg hunt. And so I thought about pulling out some alphas, and I think the yellow would be nice to have because I have a yellow in a few places, like that banner under the right now, but not really many other places. There's just hints of yellow here and there. There's some eggs on that card of my mom hiding Easter eggs that are yellow. There's no yellow on that rainbow card with the numbers or the rainbow card with Kaylin on the Jungle Gym. But I just thought it'd be nice to bring in a little bit more of the yellow because of that banner on that Right Now card. So I decided to use these Jelly Bean Soup Alpha beans. These are the yam yellow color. And I'm just putting Egg Hunt right here on the right side of this photo. It's a little bit harder to read it on camera, but in person, that Egg Hunt is very easy to read. There's no issues with it. It is kind of covering up someone standing on the right. You can't even tell who it is. It's just like their arm and stuff are in the camera, but it kind of covers up that little bit, and it adds a caption onto that bottom to kind of explain why the kids are just all standing there looking. We made them stand outside the gate while we were hiding the eggs, and they couldn't come in until, of course, we were done. And then it was like a free-for-all. And there were plenty of eggs for all of the kids. We had spent the morning stuffing the eggs with candy and coins and a little bit of money just for the kids to be able to, find the eggs and get excited about them. And I think it's probably just as much fun for us to stuff them and hide them than it is for the kids to actually find them. Now this card, that green one, I'm just using it for the green border because I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that dark green color, and I thought it contrasted really well with the bright blue jacket that Ernest has on in this picture. But it is a journaling card, so if you choose not to use it as a background card, you can definitely use it as a journaling card because it was a really nice area where you can document your story. The Elle Studio kits, if you're not familiar with them, come with 2 sheets of die cuts, and they come with a bunch of cards, 3x4 and 4x6. There are definitely more 3x4 cards than there are 4x6 cards, which makes it work really well with my project life or pocketed layouts because I tend to fill most of the 4x6 pockets, but I tend to have some of the 3x4 pockets empty, or at least have photos that need to have photo mats on them. So the Elle Studio kits really work well for the way that I scrapbook. I am punching out a bunch of the die cuts from these 2 sheets, as you can see, just using them throughout the page. Because my journaling is already printed, I don't necessarily have to use the labels very much, but I do like layering labels under my journaling, like that yellow banner or the red ticket there. I like to layer those, or even that red recorded down at the bottom under the journaling beside my mom. I like to use those labels to kind of bring in a little bit more color here and there. And I am not afraid to chop up my cards or chop up the die cuts to make them a little bit different. Like the star banner here was a little bit too big, so I'm just chopping it down to be able to make it work on that photo of Kaylin and my nephew. Also, that yellow banner on the Right Now card was only a banner end on one side, and so I just folded it over and mimicked that same banner end on the other side. I just felt like it looked good that way. And then the Elle Studio die cuts also come with a really good mixture of icon shapes like hearts and stars, labels, as well as word strips or labels with words printed on them. I think it's a really good combination of colors and icons and usable pieces as well. It's a good mixture. It's pretty well balanced. Now these parts that you see has the address for the campground as well as our arrival date and time and departure date and time were just on a pamphlet that we had gotten at the check-in when we got there, and so they were on a really thin piece of paper, just regular copy paper. So I had trimmed them out from the little pamphlet on our parking pass, and I'm just putting it on a little bit of white cardstock just so you can't see through it and see the pattern in the background. And then I'm going to layer this one on this label just to have a little bit of the color peeking out, and then the other one with the dates will just go right on top of that red and white stripe up there. We are nearing the end of this layout. There are a couple more things that I'm going to do, as you will see here, and then at the end I always kind of do an overall look at the page to see if anything else needs to be added or adjusted or moved around or changed or anything really. I always kind of do that once over at the end after everything is glued down and kind of in place, at least where I think it needs to be, just to see if there's any changes. Now, as I mentioned, I did a lot of scrapbooking on this particular night, so I'm going to have those process videos up here on my channel in the next couple days. I don't entirely know what date they're going to be on, so just keep an eye out. Make sure that you're subscribed so you can see when those layouts come out. I'm also trying to be better. I'm still working on it, but I'm trying to be better about posting on Instagram. I like to do sneaks on Instagram so you can kind of see what I'm working on as I'm working on it. And then you see it pop up on YouTube a couple days or a week later or whatnot. I kind of like that. Like, I use Instagram as more in the moment, and I use YouTube for more planned out, obviously, scheduled process videos, because there's a whole process you have to go through whenever you're filming your scrapbooking layout process and, you know, doing the voiceover and all of that. So those are a little bit more scheduled out a couple days after I actually make the layout, whereas Instagram's kind of more in the moment. So if you are not following me on Instagram, please go follow me. I am just now really kind of being more active on Instagram. I've had it forever and never really used it. I'll go look at things, but I don't ever post anything. So I'm getting much better at posting. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this layout. If you have any kits that you have just like hoarded, then please pull them out and use them because they're so much fun. I thought it was really fun to kind of see what I have already in my stash and not buy anything new. So I've been on this kick for like over a year of really trying to use what I have, not buying a whole lot new. So it's been really, really nice to just be able to utilize things I have and kind of shop my stash for products that I haven't used. They're new to me because I never opened it and used it. So I challenge you to do the same thing. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. I will be back soon showing the next layout with these kits as well. And then I will actually be adding an additional kit to it to be able to complete the layout. You saw here I used quite a few of the die cuts in particular. I still have a lot of cards to work with, but I've pretty much used most of the die cuts. So I really have to add in something else to be able to complete the next layout as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will be back soon. Make sure you hit subscribe and check out the other videos that you will see here on the screen in just a moment. Thank you. Bye.